welcome back to Tech and Learning Live at ISTE 2016 in Denver, Colorado. I'm Kevin Hogan, Content Director for Tech and Learning. This is our social media hub. I was just explaining it to our next guest. Having a lot of fun with it, almost 25,000 visitors so far, where if you're not at ISTE, you can follow along and kind of feel like you're here. If you are at ISTE, you can use it as a guide to what's happening on the show floor and go around. So as part of that, we're doing these video interviews and pulling folks out of the show floor and off of the presentation stages to kind of get their feedback on how they're feeling about ISTE. And with me now is Jamie Cassip, Education Evangelist for Google.
Yeah.
And you were also the first guy I ever saw with an iPad in the wild.
Yeah, that was back in 2010 when it just came out, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah, no, and you know, look, it was a great device. It is a great device. I still have an iPad. You know, This isn't about one thing versus the other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. So a lot of ISTEs between then and now.
Yeah, lots of ISTEs.
You said you just were able to.
Yeah, so I do this every year. So I've been coming to ISTE since it was NEC, right? Or back, I think the first one I went to was Washington D.C. and then I don't even remember what cities they've been in ever since.
Yeah.
Like, so I remember we was in Denver. When was Denver? Maybe 2010. Maybe that was the last time it was here.
Yeah.
But I've been coming to ISTE for a very long time. I think I only missed one in the last 10 years that I've been at Google. And every year I get a chance to walk up and down the floors. And it's fascinating to see the growth. I remember 10 years ago, it was a lot of different devices. It was a device specific for typing. It was a device specific for spelling. It was a device specific. So there were all these boxes and everything around. And today what I find is more integration, right? I see lots of banners like, you know, integrated with Google Apps for Education or integrated with Microsoft or integrated with whatever, right? Like I see a lot more of collaboration happening across the board where people are working together to create solutions, which is kind of cool.
And so just watching this whole industry kind of evolve. I mean, I think it was 2013 where you were selected as one of our most influential.
And I've been trying to get on that list ever since.
It's a Hall of Fame.
It's a Hall of Fame.
Once you're in, you're in.
Right.
Once you're in, you're in.
Right.
So we'll talk about that evolution as you see it, because I also know in your speeches and your talks, I remember them being somewhat device-centric and talking about these children. This is going to be the lowest form of technology they'll ever know.
Right.
Has that changed your thoughts too?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a whole bunch of different talks, and depending on the year, I was part of the team that helped launch Chromebooks in education. So I did a lot of device talks. I went, but in a frame of, you know, what does the future hold? And so my joke used to be the day that I dreaded the most out of any day is December 26th. That's the day that's the one day a year that I wish I was working, the one day a year that if you want me to speak at a conference, I will definitely go to, because it's the day that my in-laws have their new technology and that I have to unbox and I have to set up and these are two college educated people.
Yeah.
And if it's hard for them, how do you bring technology to 200 people, 2,000 people, 200,000 people, right? The bigger you get, the more you scale, the harder it is. And so what the Chromebook did was it made it easy, right? The Chromebook made using technology easy. It made you can think about computing in a different way, and that was what was exciting about the Chromebook. And since then, the Chromebook has now become, you know, the biggest selling device in education. But the reason is because it's easy to use, it's easy to manage, it's easy to scale. Like in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, I think there are 100,000 plus Chromebooks, and it's one guy that's running that whole platform, right? So that's the beauty of the Chromebook. But moving beyond the Chromebook, our job in technology is to make technology easy to use, manageable, scalable, right? And as close to invisible as possible, right? Think of it this way. You've never walked into a beautiful building, a beautiful architect. You've never seen a beautiful building. I just walked by one over at a party that's just, you know, we don't do those old-fashioned buildings anymore made out of, marble with all the carvings in them, right? And you look at that and you think about the beauty and the art. You never look at a building like that and say, I wonder what kind of hammer they used. Or I wonder what kind of screwdriver they used, right? We don't talk about things. So if I'd love us to start talking about outcomes and look at these kids and what they're learning, how capable they are and what the capacity is. And those are the outcomes that I want to talk about. The technology doesn't matter, right? The technology is there to support and enable what you want to do.
Talk a little bit about Google and education. Now, it's always the busiest booth on the show floor for years, right? It's always. And also, when I have interviews with lots of companies who are either learning management companies, curriculum companies, and it's always like Google for education, and I ask, well, why don't you just Google it? And a lot of times they don't have the answers. I mean, what is the where do you see Google fitting into this whole ed tech landscape?
So a couple of things, right? Is that the day that Google launched, the day Larry and Sergey launched Google.org, I think it was called, right? Whatever they launched, the first time someone did a search, we were involved in education, right? Like we couldn't help not be involved. Like you can get rid of the booth, you can get rid of everyone who works at Google in education, and Google would still be involved in education because information leads to knowledge, knowledge leads to education, right? That's the pattern that people are on. And so anyone who searches something, they want to know something, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It depends on how you define education, but I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but I was listening to a Kanye West song, and there was this lyric. I'm like, is he saying candy? And I can't, this is not, and so I went and looked it up, right? And now I know what he was saying, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point of Google. But I think that what's exciting about ISTE and having a booth here is that it gives I'm lucky because I get to go around the world and visit. I'm in a school every week. I'm in a conference. I'm somewhere every week. I'm visiting with superintendents, curriculum directors, designers, all that stuff. But a lot of the team they don't get a chance to do that. And so this is an opportunity for them, right? So to be here and interact with their users, to interact with teachers and administrators and people who use their tools. So it's not, I'm not saying other booths do this, but it's not like we hired people to come sit in a booth and babysit the booth for us. These are, I don't know who's doing any work this week because it's, it's the whole education team, it's the whole PM team, it's the whole Android team, it's the whole, Chrome team. It's like all these folks that are here who are interacting with our users. And so that's exciting. So one is we're going to continue to build tools that are exciting to use, that are easy to use, that are manageable, scalable. Out of all the announcements, whether it's Chromecast or Project Box or Expeditions Kit, all those, I think the most fundamental one is the one around quizzes, because all the research shows you that it's not about doing assessments, right? You don't do a yearly test every year and because there's no feedback for kids, right? If they take a test, they don't know. But you talk to strong researchers in the space, like Annie Murphy Paul, right, who does a lot of this research around how the brain works and what's the best way to learn. She'll tell you that quizzes are an important part of that, like being able to do daily quizzes or being able to go in there. And it's funny, I do that with I have a 21-month-old. And without even thinking about it, I quiz her every day, right? So she's in the bathtub and we have those letters that stick to the side of the tub. And so I pull out the A and I show it to her and I go, what's this? And she goes, A. I'm like, cool. And so I grab the B and I go, what's this? She goes, A. And I grab the C and I go, what's this? A. I'm like, okay, we're making progress, right? So I'm quizzing her. I'm getting feedback. She's getting feedback. And so I'm excited about what teachers are going to be able to do with quizzes in Google Forms and how potentially it's a solution. It's like this secret Pandora box solution for potentially not having to do these big tests at the end of the year, that we can actually go in there and do assessments on a quick basis and to make it easy for teachers to use and do that. I'm excited about that.
Fantastic. Always a great conversation, Jamie.
Thank you very much for having me. It's good seeing you. And again, I will try very hard to get back on that list next year and then the year after that. That's my life goal.
You can send me the check.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.